20 million people, illegal immigrants, came into our country under the Joe Biden administration. You guys didn't say anything. You guys didn't say a word. You rolled out the red carpet for illegal immigrants in this state. You gave illegal immigrants the best health care, which crashed our health care system. You gave them the best housing, which led to the housing crisis. And then you're packing them our schools, and they don't know English. And then as the wraparound services, you love to hate on Governor Rauner, but you love when he signed the Trust Act. But what you don't tell the whole story on the Trust Act is that Pritzker put the Trust Act on steroids, which prevented local law enforcement from coordinating with the federal authorities. Then just a few years ago, and you did that all in the name of protecting DACA recipients and dreamers. You said that's why we're going to do it. Also, similar time, you did the Safety Act actually a few years later and the elimination of cash bail because the majority party made the argument that poor people shouldn't be in jail just because they're poor. Remember these conversations? A lot of people are dying. A lot of legal immigrants are coming to this country, and it's not without victims. You guys on the other side of the aisle, you opened up the state, and you provided them the absolute best of everything. You decried when governors, like the governor in Texas, sent illegal immigrants up to Illinois. You guys lost your minds, even though you asked for it. Governor Pritzker's exact words are, "Those are my people." You know, folks, we all represent just over 200,000 people. I don't represent illegal immigrants. They can go back. They have representation in their home countries. I don't represent illegal immigrants. Maybe you guys do, but I don't. You opened up illegal immigrants into this state, but here's one undeniable fact. You would never open them up to your own home. How many illegal immigrants live in your spare bedroom? Don't even need to answer it. I know the answer. It's 0. None of you Democrats on the other side of the aisle are going to open up an illegal immigrant to your homes. You're not also going to put these illegal immigrants on the Gold Coast or Pritzker Park. Where do you guys put illegal immigrants? In the poorest areas in the state of Illinois. But you got a little pushback, didn't you? So how'd you get around the pushback? You said we couldn't put these big encampments in the state of Illinois in the poorest areas in the south side of Chicago. So what are we going to do? We're going to say we couldn't do it because of environmental concerns. No, the reason you didn't do it is because people in the south side of Chicago lost their mind. And they didn't want it in their communities either. Pritzker ain't put it next to his house. Of course he's not. But in the city of Chicago, you're 4 times more likely to get killed than you are if you live in New York City or LA. In the city of Chicago, every 5 hours, for the use that represent the city of Chicago, every 5 hours somebody is shot, every 20 hours somebody is killed. We never talk about the victims that are created by your policies. I will. Just a few months ago, Darcy Bruner in my district lost her life to an illegal immigrant. She was driving north in my district on a well-traveled highway. The guy that killed her, multiple felon, DUIs, domestic battery, illegal immigrant. Plowed her, smack, right in the middle of the day. Drunk as a skunk. Couldn't detain, couldn't get out of this country because of the Safety Act and the Trust Act and the policies that you all pass. Darcy didn't agree with me on policy. She was more aligned with your side of the aisle. She was a good person. She was a good mother and a good person of our community. And she is dead because of policies that you guys pass. Where's the outcry for Darcy and her family? Where's the outcry for the grandkids that aren't going to be able to hug their grandma because of the policies that you create? The person that killed Darcy Bruner in my community, multiple felons, convicted in the court of law, couldn't deport, couldn't get him out of my area, because of the Trust Act and the Safety Act and the personal protection that you provide to illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants is not a victimless crime. People get hurt. And today you're going to hit it on the accelerator. People in this state are so tired of ICE agents and cops being called racist. They're not racist, they're heroes. They're not profiling, they're doing their damn job. Now, many of you on the other side of the aisle are running for Congress. You don't like the immigration laws? Change them. Change them. It is illegal to come into this country without proper documentation. That is a federal crime. That isn't a neighbor. That isn't an ally. That is a criminal. Now, the Democrats have often said, we want these people to come into our communities because who's going to clean our hotels? Who's going to pick our crops? How offensive. Who do you all work for? You drive down the wages of everyday Americans so you can provide cheap labor and maybe down the road, a vote. That's the truth. In 2023 and 2024, the population of the state of Illinois was projected to go up about 67,000, almost exclusively surrounded around illegal immigration. The people that are citizens of this state, they've said no. They're no longer voting. They're no longer complaining. They're no longer advocating. They're getting the hell out of this state because you all won't keep them safe. You want to scream and yell and hold cameras at ICE officials. We call them heroes, the Democrats. You call them racists. How offensive. How offensive to the men and women in uniform that we ask to protect our communities. How offensive. You guys have been on the wrong side of policies for quite some time. But this is an 80-20 issue. You can be in rural Illinois, suburban Illinois, downtown Chicago, south side of Chicago. U.S. citizens deserve that shot. Today, what you've done is you've taken just a little bit away from an American to get that shot, somebody that calls Illinois home. And you've created a 1,000-foot buffer zone for ICE agents. You know who else gets a 1,000-foot buffer zone? Sex offenders. You've compared ICE agents to sex offenders and racists. How disgusting. How despicable.